Today, the focus will be on, the recent performance of the Naira in the currency market. And of course, looking also at the NGX, that is the Nigerian equities market. So much has played out in recent times, and we'll be looking at all of those on today's edition of the program. I have my guest right with me on the program. He is an equity and fixed income trader, an analyst in the person of Joshua Joseph. Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for joining us on Business Daily today.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. I'd really like for us to begin by, hearing your views on how, the Naira has fared in the parallel market and in the official market lately. Like I did point out earlier, we have seen, the gap continue to widen, and as at Friday it was between 128 naira to 130 naira. But I'd like to hear from you now. What are the implications of this widened gap, and how might this affect Nigeria's foreign exchange market stability as a whole?
Laid out recently on the currency market, right? We've been seeing quite the spread have been widening, both from the official market and also the parallel market. But the fact remains that we've seen a correlation in where at the point when FAC allocation comes in and what the parallel market has been trading out. There was another FAC allocation coming in about 893 billion last week, which contributed to the depreciation we saw in the parallel market, save for the CBN intervention that took place in the market last week. We saw CBN selling about around $95 million to authorized dealers, but that was what contributed to the appreciation and the Naira gaining against the dollar, what we saw in the official market. And going forward, what we've seen that this supply shortage has been affecting the Naira for a while now, and we still believe that irrespective of the intervention that CBN does, this supply remains a concern for the market at large. And we think that going forward, we expect to see more depreciation on the currency front, and overall, right, we are still looking at the bound range of around 1650 to 1750 levels at what the market is going to close at for the year.
You have said something. You said you still expect to see the Naira depreciate in the short, to medium term. But I'm curious because over on Friday, at the close of trading on Friday, we did see, the Naira gain at the official market, even though we did depreciate at the parallel market. Can you help us, explain this disparity that we are currently experiencing?
So like I mentioned, right, the gains in the Naira that we saw in the official window is attributable mainly to CBN's intervention. I mentioned that last week we saw about CBN selling around $95 million, right, in the market. That was what contributed to the gains we saw last week. In the previous week also, CBN also intervened in the market. If you check what it closed at last week, in the previous week and last week, we've seen this appreciation has been playing out, right? And this is mainly as a result of CBN coming to the market to intervene to support the Naira mutually. So I believe that was the major driving force that led to the gains in the Naira we saw on the official market mutually.
You did make mention of the CBN's intervention, which we have seen a lot more recently. We did see, the CBN inject about $60 million to the official market. Would you say that that was a major contributor, to the gain that was witnessed in the official market, with banks, buying dollars for about 1,450 naira to a dollar?
Yes, I believe that is the major contributor, right, for the gains we saw in the official market. Aside from that, right, the pressure we saw on the parallel market, why you are saying that, or you believe that Naira is depreciating on that end, is due to the pressure from the FAC inflow that came in last week. And we've been seeing that CBN's intervention majorly has been contributing to the upside that the Naira has been experiencing for a while now. And we believe that if CBN persists in this intervention, right, is going to bode well for the Naira, but the supply shortage still remains a bottleneck. As we've been seeing, the demands of supply dynamics has been kind of wide, right? But CBN's intervention is giving more room for the Naira to gain against the dollar at the short term.
Well explained right there. But I would like for us to move on now to the commodities market, looking at oil prices. Oil prices have somewhat stabilized, lately, oscillating between $79 to a barrel and $80 to a barrel lately. So do you see this having some sort of effect on maybe stabilizing the Naira, or will the domestic challenges continue to drive volatility with regards to the Naira?
So we've seen that on the commodity market, right, we've seen investors monitoring the geopolitical developments that we've been experiencing in the Middle East, majorly with focus on these supply disruptions and Israel's expected response to Iran, right, the missile attack. And we've been seeing these affecting how the oil prices have been moving, right? Last week, like you mentioned, that we've seen stabilizing at around $75 per barrel, around those range to around 78. We believe that, right, these different supplies bottleneck that we've been experiencing would lead to more appreciations in the oil prices, right? Save for any disruptions and any political uncertainty that comes in. But what we've been seeing in terms of Nigeria and how it's going to benefit us, right, is in terms of our oil production numbers, right? We've been seeing if we could see a bit of improvement in those numbers, we believe that bringing it into the market is going to give us a good improvement in our research, right? If you check research for a while now, our foreign research, we've been seeing quite of improvement as at last week, right? We saw it improving by about $580 million, right? And all this we've been seeing is this inflow that we've been seeing coming in. But however, the pressure still remains on the oil prices, right? As at this morning, what would this see was the oil stumbling by about 5%, right, at the start of the week, right? This is after Israel strikes against targets in Iran. I mentioned last week the appreciation is as a result of these tensions we're seeing in the Middle East, right? And we continue to see these tensions going into this week, and we believe that the oil price should be able to stabilize at around 73 barrel this week.
You have already predicted further depreciation. Now, speaking of the Naira's performance across the parallel market and official market as well. But peradventure, we see some sort of recovery. What factors would need to align for us to experience that?
Okay, so the major factor, right, if we're seeing a recovery in Naira prices against the dollar, right, at this point in time is it's majorly attributed to improvement in supplies that we experience in the market. I mentioned earlier on that the major issue we're facing right now that's leading to continuous depreciation in the Naira is as a result of the shortage in supply, right? And we believe that we could see more improvement in this. That also comes to the fact that we've seen improvements in oil production numbers, right, and also less dependence on imports levels, right, that the country is experiencing. So we believe that our continuous intervention by CBN, lest I forget, will also contribute to the Naira appreciating going forward. And we think that if we are seeing this reversal as quite expected, as what we expect, if we are seeing this reversal in Naira appreciating, then these factors will definitely be what leads to this appreciation.
Let us move on now to looking at how the Nigerian equities markets, fared throughout last week, where we saw 5 day of the bullish run. I would like for you to explain to us, what is the cause of this sustained bullish trend. On Friday, we did see further gains by about 0.26%. But looking generally now at how the markets fared the entire week, what is the major factor behind this continued bullish run?
Okay, in respect to what we saw in the Nigerian market, right, we saw it gaining about 1.41%, and majorly what contributed to these gains is the banking stocks, which led the rally, particularly the tier one banks. We saw UBA gaining at about 19% on a week-on-week basis, and the likes of FBN returned about 10%. Zenith Bank also returned about 7%, right? So we've seen significant buyer interest in these names and banking names. And also, what also led to that contribution was the gain in surplus. We saw surplus appreciating by about 9%, following the federal government's approval of his purchase of the ExxonMobil's onshore assets. And we've seen these playing out in the market. Aside these particular names, right, overall, we believe that the major drivers and sentiments in the market is quite strong and largely fueled by impressive Q3 24 earnings that we saw coming to the market last week. We saw quite a lot of numbers, companies releasing their numbers, say for the breweries and consumer goods are still kind of experiencing FX pressures, right? Overall, all of our numbers are quite good. And we also saw some dividend come into the market last week, which contributed to the reinvestment that we saw, leading to this uptick in the market.
You did mention, all of these activities and how, it contributed to the bullish run. But one thing we didn't mention also was, the all-share index surpassing the 60 trillion Naira mark. And that happened, and the market also has sustained, that mark. But I would like for you to speak regarding, the outlook for the sustenance of that. Do you foresee the market retaining, that volume moving forward?
Yeah, so trading volume I've been seeing in the market is quite high, right? We've seen what has been contributing to this. To mention, we've seen banking index driving this performance, the listing of how they're coming into market, and we've been seeing a lot of trading activities coming to the market. And going into the last quarter, last 2 months of the year, we believe that we are still going to see more activities in the market, from talking about portfolio rebalancing and the likes, right? And the drivers, we're seeing that the all-share index surpassing these levels, getting to these levels, right? We believe that it's going to persist. This morning, we did see the lifting of the suspension of Transcorp Corporation, right? And we've been seeing quite of positive sentiment on those names. Overall, we still believe that the all-share index is good for a very attractive returns yet to date to close the year.
Very well explained there, Mr. Joseph. But I would like for us to also talk about, UBA. We saw UBA, finally join the group of stocks with over 1 trillion in terms of market capitalization. Even though, on the other hand, we saw declines with, Fuga stocks, that is Fidelity, UBA, Zenith, Access, as well as, Guarantee Trust. We saw declines come out from that. But we did see gains, particularly being recorded by UBA. What do you make of that, and how does this impact the financial market as a whole?
Okay, thank you. So for UBA, right, we've been seeing the track record and the kind of growth being a good one, right? In their H1 numbers, we saw them paying a dividend about 2 Naira, which is quite above its peers, right? And we believe that this is a very good one for the company. And what also contributed to these gains we saw, and it's surpassing these levels I've been saying, right? We saw their 9 month numbers also showing a very strong performance. We saw year-on-year growth in interest income of about 170%, which is very, very, very good. And we've seen their fees and commission have also been seeing significant year-on-year increase, right? We saw it rising all to about 104%. Overall, the company have been doing well in increasing their bottom line and also their top line numbers. Their pre-tax profits, I believe, increased about 20% year on year to about 603 billion. This is it. So one thing we've noticed about UBA per se, apart from being a very good fundamental stock, we've been seeing that the return on equity has been quite good over time, which is what investors are looking at compared to his peers, right? It is trading at a very discount levels compared to his peers. It has a P ratio of about 1.5, right? And we've seen that UBA has been doing well in terms of performance and the company in terms of growth and in terms of return on equity and for the shareholders at large. So going forward, yes, we still think that UBA is going to do well, but we are not leaving the room for profit takers who have made so much money on the stock, right? But overall, right, UBA is going for a good one.
Very well explained. But I would like for you to give us your views on the outlook for the equities market, generally speaking, even as we march into, the second month of the fourth quarter, that is the month of November, and, the end of the year 2024. What is your outlook for, the market as a whole?
Yes, so for the last 2 months, this quarter, right, we expect positive sentiment to persist, right? We are going to see mixed sentiment upwards on the positive side. We expect to see more portfolio rebalancing towards the end of the year. We expect to see investors taking positions for dividends, for full-year dividend. We expect this to also come into the market, and we also expect that we see more of activities towards January and February activities, right? And in investors' anticipation of attractive earnings releases and dividend payments, right? So overall, we still expect that the index goes positive, right? Towards the end of the year for the last 2 months. On a month-to-month basis, right, we expect that the October month goes on a positive note, and December, we expect that we'll see more positive interest in December. We might quite see profit-taking activities in November, but overall, in Q4, we expect to see that the market goes on a bullish note.
Fingers crossed, like you have rightly pointed, looking forward to the bullish trend like you have, predicted for the markets in the coming months. But before we go, I will not leave you without you giving us, some investment tips. What would be your top 2 or 3 investment tips that, you would give out to Nigerians that are watching us this morning?
Thank you. What we'll still say is that it's just an investment advice, right? And we don't say that you still consult with your investment advisor, right, on rate guides and what would expect. But from our end, we will still have the very bullish sentiments towards the banking stocks, UBA in particular, and Access, right? We've been seeing quite of appreciations in those names, right? And for long term, right, we still believe that the telcos still have a very good trajectory, right? And in terms of way of investing, it's best to always consider the pros and cons and the benefits, right? First off is looking at the investors' appetite and what they are looking to get. We can both have capital appreciation and dividends from investing in the equities market, which we believe that we contribute to stream of income of investors.
But I also want to hear your thoughts on mutual funds, because we have seen a lot of investors flock towards, investing in mutual funds. What would your advice regarding that be?
Yeah, so on that end, right, we've seen uptick in fixed income yields, right? So 1 year instruments, the last auction on Wednesday closed at 20.65 with a yield of about 25 levels, right? And which we believe has been quite, this year has been a good run for the mutual fund and the money market funds. And we still believe that for risk adverse investors investing in this is a very good one where you have a return, expecting a return of around 20 levels, right? And it's been a very good one. So going into the year, we still believe that the yields on money market funds should still close on at higher strength levels at this point.
But are there any gray areas that we should pay close attention to?
Yeah, so if you're already in the market at this point, right, it's best to check your portfolio and rebalance it, right? We would have some that you've gained, but like we always say, right, if you are not in any hurry or need of cash, right, it's best to just hold because we have that reinvestment weeks when you exit a particular position and you want to come into other stocks and you might be coming at a very high level. So most stocks have a hold recommendation at this point. So it's always best to evaluate your stance, your portfolio, and we also have some stocks that have a buy recommendation that you could always move with.
Excellent tips to go by, especially, looking at the investment space right here in Nigeria. Equity and fixed income trader Joshua Joseph, thank you for all the insights that you have shared with us today on the program. Deeply appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
And this is where we say our goodbyes on today's edition of Business Daily. Extensive, very intense conversation there with Joseph Joshua, who is the fixed income trader and as well as an equities trader, where we did look at, current trends in the Nigerian currency market. And of course, the equities market, where we did see the NGX sustain or retain the bullish trend all through last week, with the all-share index passing the 60 trillion Naira mark last week, but the question now is, do we expect to see the market continuing this trend? Well, we will be looking out to see just how well the markets will be performing today, this week, this month, and the rest of the year. Keep the conversation going across all the social media platforms on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and of course on X. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.